Sometimes you need to use incorrect grammar in your dialogue. I'm not talking about misusing, quotation marks and commas and all of that stuff. I'm talking about actual writing. To elaborate, essentially, I just mean sometimes to make dialogue more natural, it needs to be a little incorrect. People don't always speak properly, myself included, for sure. So, for example, I recently wrote a short story, got some notes back from the editor, and there's a piece of dialogue where the main character's saying, "What if her and her parents come looking?" But then the editor's like, it should be, "What if she and her parents come looking?" And that's fine, but in dialogue, no, most people aren't going to speak like that. It doesn't feel casual because it's too correct. Another example might be confusing adverbs and adjectives. So, for example, you might say, "It's a real nice day out." That's technically incorrect. It should be, "It's a really nice day out." But depending on how your character talks, it might be correct for them to say, "It's a real nice day out." Because that's just more casual, and that depending on where they're from and how they grew up, and sometimes incorrect is correct. These are just some examples, but again, sometimes when you're speaking to somebody, you're not going to be polishing how you're talking. Like you would sound like a robot. You would sound like a way too professional robot if you're polishing everything you say and you're always grammatically correct in the way that you speak at all times. It very rarely happens. You have some people like that, and maybe that's part of their personality and the way they speak, and that's fine if that fits your character. But for a lot of people out there, we don't always speak proper, and that's okay. Again, if it's not in dialogue, make sure you're fixing these kinds of things and make it, like correct what needs to be corrected if it's incorrect. That's fine. There are some instances where it's okay to break rules there too. That's a whole other thing. But when it comes to dialogue, it's a lot more flexible. It's a lot more lax. And just do what feels actually natural for speech. I recommend if you're trying to write that you start listening to the people around you, and not just in your immediate bubble either, but start listening to people out in public and how they talk in different ways people speak, and you'll kind of pick up on what's more natural and what's not, and that everybody talks a little bit different, but there's still some things where nobody's going to do it because it's too robotic. If you have some good examples of times where you broke a grammar rule for the sake of dialogue, then drop them in the comments because I would love to see it. Dialogue's just one of my favorite things to read and to write.